A piece of paper is lying on a table right in front of me, addressed to the woman I resent the most. "Dear Mom," says the first line. It's so hard to find the right words to write the rest, but it's at least the first step. Recently I moved to a new place. The room is small and uncomfortable, and I'm almost positive that the rats have built themselves a nest in the walls. It's not much, but it will do for the time being until I'm ready to move somewhere better. The place is a good temporary stopping point in my life. The boxes still clutter the quote-unquote living room of my apartment. I'm sure I'll need them soon packed anyway, so I don't even bother. I do have a simple job at the moment and lots of hopes for the future. Despite everything, I barely manage to pay my rent. It's been really hard. My time here has been a real learning experience, I add to the letter, not necessarily a lie. This new city is weird and cool. I'm getting used to it, I think. At least I hope so. I got a data entry job, typing up the junk that computers can't auto-read. The job has been easy enough, but it is a night shift. I don't really mind that in general, but it made things especially lonely since I don't know anyone around and couldn't even meet my neighbors because the only time we would be able to converse is at the middle of the night. It felt like I was the only living person in a ghost city. Even my job is at a weirdly remote location. I usually sit there, alone, in front of a computer screen for hours on end, typing up some weird stuff the program needs to understand. With a heavy sigh, I reluctantly write at the end of the letter. I can't wait to have you come visit. Love, Ari. I know she wouldn't visit. There isn't even the slightest chance, and I wouldn't want her to anyways. She would never even reply to my letters. Just in case, I still put the return address on the envelope. 700 Owasso, apartment 454, Mantua, Wyoming 82435. I'm still getting used to my new address. Before leaving, I once again check my bedroom. There is a strange door that I'm looking at while falling asleep and see first thing waking up. This door gives me a weird feeling. I know that it's sealed, and as it was explained to me, it used to be a fire exit that is no longer in use. Window right next to it confirms the claim. It faces the fall of the building right in front, so there is no other view except for a sudden drop waiting on the other side of the sealed fire exit. I do know all that, but I have a strange compulsion to check that it's still sealed before leaving the apartment nonetheless. It is still sealed. What did I expect, really? I exit my apartment and lock the door. The hallway is damp and cold. Constant sound of leaking pipes fills the space. There are no windows in the hallway, so each time ceiling lamps would die, and it happened a lot. In a very short time I rented the place. It was almost impossible to navigate yourself around the damp labyrinth of doors without a source of light. The corridor leads to a staircase. The way up outside, and the way down is locked by a sturdy metal grate to keep people from sneaking in the basement. My home building is close to the subway I take, and when I get off, it is a short walk to my office. If you could call it an office. It is more of a cell, where me, myself and I spend time sitting in front of the computer, typing up stuff that system can't recognize as text because of the author's writing skills of a teaspoon. There are two small windows near the ceiling leading outside. They are positioned so high up that the only things I can see are the tops of the skyscrapers and the sky itself, that seems oddly red through the dirty stained glass. There is also a camera that watches me constantly. At least someone has the job even more boring than mine. Look for the yellow highlighted text. Type whatever is written there. Usually it's someone's address. Submit. Get the next letter, type text, submit over and over again. Can't really complain though. It's calm and quiet here. Sometimes something falls in the corridor, revealing the presence of other misfortunes like me. But overall, it's a very easy job. Turn off your mind, relax, type stuff up, and get money to pay rent. Sounds good enough for now as a temporary solution. After the day is over, I get out of the building blinded by the rising sun. I hope I get to see the sun more often when I switch jobs. Exhausted, I get back home and crawl in the bed. Tonight, it was hard falling asleep because of the rats. I think they are trying to make their way into my apartment to steal food while I'm away. Joke's on them. I don't have any food. My fridge is empty and vacant. They can move in there if they want to. When I opened my eyes in the evening, I stared at the sealed door for a while. For some reason, I had a feeling that it would open. that it should open. Maybe it even did open while I was asleep. I had to check. Grabbing a cold metal handle, I paused for a moment. Thoughts were bouncing around my skull. What if it's really going to open? Do I want to find it out? Maybe it's better to leave it be. Collecting myself, I pressed at the handle and it resisted. Sealed. I knew it's sealed. I know it's sealed. I just can't let go of those weird intrusive concerns that it's not. Maybe loneliness and nighttime shifts are getting to me. It's already been a month after all. My eyes are getting really tired, the tips of my fingers hurt, my head is about to crack in two, but I have to pay rent, so I have to work until I find a better place. Sitting in that creepy dusty room is driving me insane. Even while walking to work, I'm constantly paranoid that someone is following me or watching me. The shadows are just a little off. I can't put my finger on it, but I feel like I'm not alone, and yet I'm as lonely as ever. Maybe I'll knock on my neighbor's door, even if it comes off as rude to be disturbing peace in the middle of the night, just to know that they are actually there. I get to work as if in a trance and start typing up the text the program gives me. Today, an eerie number of letters are addressed to Edgy McBride. Admittedly, sometimes that happens and I get to transcribe letters addressed to the same person, but this time, that Edgy, she's living right next to me. 7915 Chington Highway, Mantua, Wyoming 82435. By itself, it also isn't that weird, but the gut feeling deems otherwise and alarm bells in my head just won't stop ringing. Each letter is stained as if someone put a piece of meat inside an envelope. Edgy McBride. To Edgy McBride. Edgy McBride. I pause looking at one letter. Why choose Edgy McBride? 7915 Chington Highway, Mantua, Wyoming 82435. A part of me doesn't want to be nosy, but another part just has to know what's going on. Maybe this person needs help. Maybe something illegal is going on. Or maybe worse. I glanced at the security camera and I could have sworn that it focused on me. My palms immediately start to sweat. The ventilation works poorly in my office. At last, I make a decision and reluctantly delete 7915 Chington Highway, replacing it with 700 Tavasa Apartment 454. It's just one little line that machine couldn't even read either way. Without giving myself time to change my mind, I press submit and proceed with the job. The rest of the shift, Edgy McBride kept haunting me, letter after letter, until there was one addressed directly to me, to the quote-unquote data conversion operator. A letter covered with black and white stripes, making it impossible for the program to detect the text. My whole body started to shake a little. The second time was a lot easier to make a decision. Almost without hesitation, I typed 700 Tavasa Apartment 434, Mantua, Wyoming 82435. The machine wouldn't know, and the letter is, in fact, addressed to me. After that, all caution left me and I sent myself a couple more suspicious letters that didn't belong to anyone. What is going through this program? What do people send in the letters that have no destination? Maybe they were waiting for me. I will know soon enough. The night ends, the sun rises, a sure sign that I have to get back home. Lights keep flickering around me, even in the subway, as if my tired self is lacking energy so much that it takes it from the light sources all around. Right as I get home, I receive an unpleasant call. My activity did attract attention, but they let it slide just this one time. I'm not allowed to send any correspondence that doesn't belong to me home from this point on. Makes sense. I shouldn't have done anything like that in the first place, to be honest. But what worries me is how easily I lost control. Waking up today was harder than ever. It felt like the rats tried to make their way directly into my brain throughout the whole day. Sleeping became almost unbearable. I work at night, I can't rest during the day, I feel worse and worse. I really do have to find a new job as soon as possible. The first thing I do is I check that the door in front of my bed is still sealed. A weird dream started to haunt me recently of it being open while I sleep, letting whatever is trying to crawl inside. It's getting closer each day. I try the handle, still sealed, as it should. I started to hallucinate from time to time. I blink and see letters all over the floor, in the bath, on the bed. I blink again and they vanish. This job is definitely getting to me if it wasn't already obvious. I really need to talk to someone. As I get ready to leave, a piece of paper crumbles under my feet. Some letters I keep seeing are real after all. These are the ones that I addressed home a while ago, and they're already here. I can't contain my interest and open them immediately. There are newspaper clippings inside telling a story of Edgy McBride and the way she died in the bathroom, as well as Edgy's prescriptions against spasms and pains. The letter that is meant to date a conversion operator, aka me, says that the place I'm working for is nothing but a farce, verbatim. Somehow, I feel like all these letters are meant to me, like someone knew I'd meddle with the program and changed the address. Like all of this is a warning. Loud breathing interrupts my train of thought. Someone is right behind the door, in the corridor, waiting for me. Yet I am not scared. It is better to meet someone dangerous than to keep seeing no one at all. With one swift motion, I swing the door open and there is no one there. As if trying to challenge this observation, the breathing gets louder, like someone is playing with me, intentionally tricking my mind. Leaving the letter on the counter, I hurriedly lock the door and get moving, taking my usual way to work, but keeping pace to get far away from something that is following me. Something alive, breathing, menacing, but invisible. Even if you know nothing about mental health, one thing is clear. Auditory hallucinations added to the visual hallucinations mean that I really have to see a therapist as soon as I have spare money, which means that I have to process more letters and work harder. Leaving the building and getting on the subway doesn't help. The breathing follows me relentlessly right to the entrance of my office. It is dead quiet here as per usual, no sounds apart from the soft humming of the computer and clicks of flickering lights. Today my superiors decided to time me to increase productivity. I guess my performance started to suffer as I felt worse and worse. It doesn't help that while working I keep losing time. Here I was transcribing a text of a letter, and the next moment I'm staring at the screen, another letter is in queue, and I type, I can't feel my hands anymore. I don't remember typing that. I think when my poor brain enters this autopilot state, subconscious fears come out. During my shift several times I awoke to have typed, what am I doing here? I own the clothes I will die in. I don't want to die alone. Am I safe? Humans were never meant to live forever. And no souls without use. Sometimes letters being crumpled into a legible mess looks almost like human teeth or intestines of an entity living inside the monitor I keep looking at. Another letter is in queue. Compton Jones, a lawyer in Bangor, Wales, woke up to find that he had his throat slit. Motioning for a paper and a pencil, he wrote, I dreamt that I had done it. I awoke to find it true. And died 80 minutes later. He had done it himself while unconscious. An inquest at Bangor delivered a verdict of while temporarily insane. What can I do unconscious? I keep losing passage of time, and more importantly, who will be there to witness it and give me a piece of paper and a pencil? Suddenly the power goes out. I haven't done nearly enough work to be able to pay for rent this month. I'm already late. Whatever am I going to do? Today I woke up holding the door that is supposed to be sealed, as if I actively tried to prevent it from opening while asleep. Or while I thought I was asleep. I haven't felt rested in a long while now. I swear I see my office from the window, as if this sealed door is a portal right to that cursed, godforsaken place I'm willingly stuff myself into every single night. There is a letter waiting for me under my front door. I have I sent another one to my home address? 200 Tipsy, apartment 454, Modoc, Illinois 62261. So I did send it here. I can't afford being fired for it. Looking closely, I recognize the black and white pattern all over the envelope. I don't remember seeing it among the queue yesterday, but to think of it, I don't even remember getting it back home. I open the envelope. Inside are instructions to look for a certain symbol and to send whatever is marked with it to my home address. I wonder if it's all connected to that person everyone was sending their letters to. What was their name? Elaine Papon, I think. I wonder if they also went through hell like I am. I hope I get to run into anyone today. I'll also have to work longer hours to make up for abrupt ending of the shift yesterday, and maybe, just maybe, while on my way back, I'll actually see some people for once. The corridor feels unfamiliar to me. It's all filled with smoke, as if the entire building is burning, but it doesn't smell like it. When I get to the staircase, I hesitate. Instead of going up as usual, I decide to go down to the metal grate. I wonder what is behind it, deeper down in the basement. The grate is hot to the touch, nearly boiling. I pause, listening. For a second, among the heavy silence, it is almost possible to make out a scream. Screams. So many people are suffering down there, calling my name. The sound is too quiet to be sure though. On second thought, it does sound a lot more like steam bursting out of pipes under pressure. But the weirdest thing is those sounds have no reverb. I got really used to my footsteps constantly echoing around, that the sound having no reverb feels extremely out of place. A timer I thought was a product of my imagination greets me once again waiting on my desk at my office. I hope that it was a one-time thing, but apparently psychological pressure from being isolated from everyone isn't causing enough duress. None of the letters look normal anymore. There are eyes looking, teeth smiling back at me. When I close my eyes, I see weird shapes like pupils, but forming a pattern. When I open my eyes, I still see remnants of those things, as if they are slowly getting etched into my mind. Transcribe a letter, submit. Transcribe another, submit. The last one says, this isn't going to work. At this point, it feels more like my words and my doubts than a coincidence. Suddenly the power goes out again, but I keep hearing subtle beeps of a timer that is tormenting me. My soul is being torn apart from the body with every single beep. Like I'm not in that cell of mine any longer, but in a place much, much worse. It whispers to me, curses me, puts thoughts into my head. It's like a pit, and if I jump, I'm never getting out of there. Never seeing the light of day again. Never seeing another person. Never apologizing to my mother. Thinking about my mother brings me back enough to see the symbol I had to be on the lookout for. Clinging to my fading consciousness, I type 200 Tipsy, apartment 454, Modoc, Illinois 62261. I wake up in front of the sealed door again. It is covered in scratch marks and my nails are torn and bloody. Somehow I know that there are matching scratches on the other side of the door. I finally found a new job! I've got an interview tomorrow, and if all goes well, I will never have to see that cell ever again. Tomorrow doesn't feel fast enough. There is a letter under my front door with that very symbol I saw yesterday. Inside there is a USB. Just put it in and work as usual, it will take care of the rest. Those letters never explain anything, just allude to something too crazy to be real, impossible. But I do feel its effect with every entry I submit. This time I don't even remember getting to work. 1 minute I'm in my apartment, the other I'm sitting in front of the computer, letters to transcribe already queued, USB in the palm of my hand. Trying to be as inconspicuous as possible, I insert the USB. I need all the help I can get, even if it doesn't make any sense. The program cracks and wails, begging me to get the USB out, but I'm relentless. Whatever it is, I want to hurt it just as much as it wants to consume me. Even then, I keep getting through the queue of letters. Transcribe, submit, transcribe, submit, transcribe, submit. With each letter, my soul traveling somewhere, leaving me behind. Taking a subway and going home, taking the stairs and walking through the corridor with no doors. There is no one there, no neighbors, just memories of them. Is that what really happened to Elena Paban, I wonder? At the very end of the long, dim, damp hallway, there is my apartment, without a door. Entering it, I already know. I already know that the door isn't sealed anymore. In fact, it isn't even there. The hum in my ears grows louder, to the point that I can't hear anything at all. I make a few steps inside, and there it is. Open, wildly inviting passage. It is impossible to resist. I know what is waiting for me there. My desk, my chair, my cell, and my computer with a queue of letters. In fact, there are lots of computers sewn together, forming a massive, living, breathing organism that shivers in joy, unable to contain its excitement seeing me, impatient to consume me after all this time. Suddenly the hum stops, just as abruptly as it filled the air before. It is quiet. Only breathing of the massive creature disturbs the peace. There is nowhere for me to run, nowhere to escape. I sit down. I know the gist. Transcribe, submit. Transcribe, submit. My tired eyes shift from the screen for a moment and the realization hits me. The USB. It is still there, inserted. The thing that was promised to defeat whatever it is in front of me and protect me somehow. Supposedly. But it does nothing, as if it isn't even there. The entity is watching me carefully, an eye focusing on me from somewhere above. The timer is beeping loudly. When did it even get here? Transcribe, submit. What am I submitting? Better question is, what am I submitting to? My soul doesn't feel like mine anymore. A sin eater, they call those like me. A sin eater has to be isolated. He's avoided by other people. Taking other people's sins. I don't want to submit anymore. That USB is there not to defeat whatever it is that wants me. It is there to provide me another option.